Hi there. Welcome to another episode of UP4A Speaks. Today I'm going to share with you 3 editing styles. This is going to help you when you're deciding on what type of editor to hire for your manuscript. Now, as an editor of mostly fictional writings, the 3 styles that I'm sharing with you today are going to apply to mostly fictional manuscripts. If this is our first time meeting, my name is Caroline Smiley and I am a book editor. I work with authors who have a desire to amplify the voice of the Black and Brown community in genres where we are underrepresented. Okay, before I jump into today's content, let me just say to you, if you see me look off to the side, it's not because I'm distracted. I am absolutely focused on our time here together, but I'm checking my notes to make sure that I'm sharing everything with you that I plan to, okay? The second thing is, as you're doing your research, you may come across editing styles with a different title from the ones that I share here today. So what you want to do is you want to focus on the description, because for some reason in the editing world, the styles of editing have different names, but you'll find that in paying attention to the description, you'll be able to tie the name of that style that you find on the web back to one of the titles that I mentioned in this video, so you'll understand what style of editing you're dealing with, and it will help you to determine who to hire to edit your manuscript. Okay, so the first type of editing is copy editing. Now, copy editing is the most basic form of editing. And I say basic not in that it's easy or it's trivial, but it is the simplest form of editing, and it's usually the most inexpensive form as well. And what it covers is it looks at things like grammatical errors, such as, spelling, punctuation, removing nonsensical sentences, checking for technical and character inconsistencies. And this type of editing, I recommend to people who are, one, seasoned authors who have gone through, written and published a book, and they have some experience with editing, and so their writing style is really on point, and they can skip comprehensive editing, more detailed editing, and then just do this more simplistic form of editing. Also, if you're a very confident writer, even if this is your first time publishing, but you're very confident in your writing and you are only looking for another set of eyes to look at your manuscript to make sure that you've actually written what you thought you were writing, then I recommend copy editing for you as well. The next type of editing, the second one, is comprehensive editing. Now, comprehensive editing is detailed editing. You will find this type of editing referred to online as line-by-line editing, and that is exactly what it is. It is going over your manuscript with a fine-tooth comb, and it is looking at it line by line, looking for everything, punctuation, grammar, nonsensical sentences, all the same things that you look for in copy editing, but then they're also going to add to that, is your story flowing correctly? Are your characters' backgrounds enough? Like, have you given enough description of who this person is for your readers to get to know them? Background setting, if you're referring to really famous places in your book, is it really historically correct? Things like that. So comprehensive editing gets into the nitty-gritty of editing your manuscript, and you usually work with your editor very closely when you're in a comprehensive edit, because you're going to make all these suggestions and it's going to be a back and forth between the two of you until you get your manuscript to that point where it is exactly what you want it to be, so that you are getting to your target audience. Now, I recommend comprehensive editing for new authors, right? If this is the first time you've written a book and you want to get it out there, I recommend that you hire an editor who will do line by line editing for you. As the other benefit of comprehensive editing is that by the time you are done working this closely with your editor, your style of writing is going to be improved, because they're going to expose your blind spots. They're going to share with you areas where you overuse words, overuse phrases, things like that. So it will also help you as a first-time author to improve upon your writing style for your next book. If you're a seasoned author, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't get comprehensive editing as well, because some people are really very good at telling a story, but not so good at writing that story. So you may need someone to go over your manuscript for you and make sure that the story that you're telling when you speak is actually what is now going to be reflected in print. So don't think that because I say first-time authors, if you're a seasoned author, it doesn't work for you. It works for you just as well. What you have to keep in mind is that with comprehensive editing, because it is such an in-depth look at your manuscript, you are going to pay more than you would for copy editing. The third type of editing is proofreading. Now, proofreading is the final review before you mass produce your book. So after you've gone through a couple rounds of editing, you are going to now have your book printed, bound, and give it to a proofreader who will go over it. And they are not going over it. They're going over it in depth, but not in the same way as comprehensive editing. What they're going to do is they're going to look at are page numbers consistent? Are page numbers missing? Are there weird breaks in the book? Like, does a sentence cut off in a weird place on this page and then pick back up on the next page? And so it's a different in-depth look at your manuscript, because now this is actually the final product that is about to hit the market. You should not be making any major changes at this stage of getting your book published. So you want to really make sure that you've followed all the other steps before you hire someone to proofread your book, right? It does touch briefly on punctuation and the flow of your content, but not in an in-depth way as comprehensive editing does. So I recommend for you to have your manuscript go through at least 2 rounds of editing before, or editing and revisions before you move on to the proofreading stage, because that way you'll avoid having your manuscript published with errors, right? And then once you have it proofread, then you can go ahead and get it printed and out to the masses and start making passive income. So the 3 types of editing are copy editing, comprehensive editing, proofreading. Before I go, let me just share a couple of things with you. There is a program that I'm running that's called Spotlight on the Author. So if you're an author, or you know of an author who has a book that they would like me to spotlight during one of these YouTube videos, please go ahead, drop me a line at contact@carolinesmiley.com, and I will spotlight your book in one of my upcoming videos. Check out my free e-guide, Penned to Published. There's a link below. You can download it for free, and it will help you with steps of how to get your book going and how to get it published. If you have a manuscript that is written and you're ready to take it from idea to bestseller, click on the link below for my calendar. Schedule your free 30-minute your free 30-minute discovery call, and I will go over what the next steps are for you to get your book out and published into the marketplace. Please, if you find this content useful, or even if you don't find it useful, let me know in the comments, like or dislike, because that's how I'll know if what I'm doing is making sense, if I'm sharing content that's relevant to you. Please subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you will know the next time I upload a video. Before I go, let me share this quote with you from Marcus Garvey, who is one of the people that I look up to for inspiration. Always try to associate with people from whom you can learn something. All the knowledge that you want is in the world, and all you have to do is go and seek it. Until next time, happy writing.